afternoon, race fans. It's finally that time again. The off-season is over, and Season 4 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series is set to begin as we kick things off with the start of Speed Weeks here at the Daytona International Speedway for the 4th annual running of the Duracell Cup Series Clash. Drivers that were pole sitters last season qualify into this non-points event as they will make 21 circuits around this 2.5-mile super speedway. No points on the line. It's basically a twofold reason why we have this preliminary race at the beginning of the season. Number one, it gives these drivers an opportunity to get to know what Daytona is going to be like during the rest of Speed Weeks. And number two, it gets them out there and racing for the fans. So we are going to get set and buckle up tight to see just exactly what type of racing we may end up seeing during the course of this week. We've got, of course, the Clash here today. Tomorrow night, we've got pole day qualifying where we'll determine the Daytona 500 front row. Later on this week, we've got our Gatorade duels to set the rest of the Daytona 500 field, and then the Daytona 500 itself kicks off the season as these drivers will begin the first race of the 4th season of Duracell Cup competition with the Great American Race being run. But we got to finish out today's race. We got to start today's race as Carson Gum will line up on the pole alongside of Michael Norman. Carson Gum, a former Daytona 500 winner from last season. Michael Norman now in a new manufacturer as Michael Norman Motorsports moved from Toyotas over to Fords. Row 2 is where you find former champion Ryan Acosta alongside of Mitchell Collins, who has been on a long winless streak looking to go back to victory lane. Cole Baker with a new team now and a new manufacturer, now over with DCW Racing in a Toyota Camry, lines up on the inside of row 3 alongside of the driver that had the most poles last season, 4 in total, which definitely locked him into this year's Clash. That being the 78 of Ryan Butcher with new sponsorship from Popeyes on his Auto Junction Racing Toyota Camry. Without further ado though, let's go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
As the field rolls up, you can check down in the description below. It not only gives you your starting lineup of the 22 drivers taking part in today's race, but also gives you the qualifications of what poles they had during the course of last season that locked themselves into this season's preliminary Daytona race. 2 former winners of the Clash are in today's field as well. Michael Norman is one of them. He was the winner back in Season 2. William Brock, the defending winner, is also in today's field. The third driver that had formerly won a Clash is not in this field. He is not even in the field for the Duracell Cup Series this season, but that would have been should he have decided to race Matt McIntyre, who won the inaugural Clash back in Season 1. We also have, I believe, 2 of our 3 former Daytona 500 winners. I'm trying to look and see if we have all 3 of them. We have Carson Gum, who I mentioned is the defending Daytona 500 winner. We also have Carter Friesen, who won the Daytona 500 back in Season 1. But I don't see our Season 2 Daytona 500 winner here in the field. Or was it Cole Baker was the Daytona 500 winner? I think he actually was the Daytona 500 winner in Season 2. So all 3 of our Daytona 500 winners are in the field, as well as the defending champion. Jordan Lopez is in this field here today as well. And we see so many times when a driver wins a championship, then the following year it's like they hit a brick wall and their momentum is killed. Well, we'll see if Jordan Lopez, if one off-season since taking and hoisting a championship trophy, if he can lift the first trophy of the season here, albeit a non-points race, in the Clash at Daytona. 21 laps of racing here at the Daytona International Speedway, and the 4th annual Duracell Cup Series Clash is green. Let's roll! I've been waiting a long time to say that, as Ryan Acosta in the new Dodge Challenger ride is going to go to the inside and look for the race lead. Carson Gum moves to the outside line, and that may cost him leading the first lap of the Clash. Ryan Acosta has been in almost every manufacturer here in this series. He was in a Ford, he was in a a Toyota last season, and now he's in a Dodge this season. So he's just got to be in a Chevrolet here in his career to have run every manufacturer available in the Duracell Cup Series. And who's going to lead this first lap? How about Carson Gum on that outside line, holding off Ryan Acosta, and he is going to lead the first lap. 197 miles per hour at the start-finish line for these race leaders, as we're going to go 3 wide mid-pack. That's Ryan Butcher looking to the inside of Cole Baker. Didn't work. That actually puts Cole Deaver in the middle. Cody Lamas up top side. Lamas in a Ford Mustang this season as well. A 4-time winner in the past 2 seasons with Michael Norman Motorsports. And you can see with that all kind of breaking up mid-pack, that lost the outside line with a little bit of momentum. That brings Ryan Acosta back down the inside line. He's got Cole Baker trying to help him there in the Toyota. Then another Toyota and Ryan Butcher, and Cole Deaver, who was in the middle 3 wide moments ago, found his way back to the inside line. That silver machine, 4th on the inside line. Still side by side, 2 rows deep, all the way back through this field. You saw, though, that outside line gets the momentum off the corner, especially off of turn 4 and onto the front straightaway. Here's where the inside line seems to get more momentum, as Ryan Acosta going up and side drafting Carson Gum there. The two of them may have been against each other for a brief moment. But that outside line begins to prevail yet again. Acosta forges down to the inside on entry, pulls alongside, but watch here off the corner is Carson Gum with Michael Norman and Mitchell Collins. They're going to make hay on the top side. It's going to be close at the line this time, though. Who gets it? Oh, that was close. Ticker, who was it? It says Carson Gum. And now we're going to go 3 wide. Cole Baker's had enough of riding behind Ryan Acosta. He's going to put the 10 car in the middle. He goes to the bottom with help from Cole Deaver and also Carter Friesen in the 37. Carter Friesen last year was a 3-time winner, one of 2 drivers that found victory lane 3 times last year. But more importantly, Carter Friesen, 2 of his 3 wins happened during the playoffs, as we are 4 wide. Ooh, give room. Cole Deaver, is he going to let Baker down? He is. That was a hairy situation there with Mitchell Collins, Ryan Butcher, Cole Baker, and Cole Deaver. And they're still leaning on each other. And there we go! Jack Mitchell around with Jesse Turner. Caution's going to fly for the first time here today at Daytona. Vince Almriego is involved as well. Austin LaPlante through the grass. William Brock gets a piece of Mitchell. And it just was not going to work. Ryan Braun with a lot of damage there through the grass. There's Jesse Turner's U.S. Air Force Mustang. About a 5-6 car incident here, putting us under the caution for the first time here today at Daytona. These drivers, I think, had already crossed the start-finish line, so they're actually racing back to the caution as Carson Gum leads a 3-wide formation of 3 rows deep to the start-finish line here. Caution out officially on lap number 5, and lap 5 will be completed now with Carson Gum showing the way. These drivers now will pick up the pace car, and I was going to bring up the topic as well that with 21 laps, these drivers would be right within the window of maybe making it on fuel. Be interesting to see if these drivers decide to pit, top off, and make absolute certain they're going to be able to make it on fuel here to finish out the clash at Daytona. But as Carson Gum leads the way, let's go back again and see what happened through the tri-oval. They were 4 wide for a moment, settled it out towards the front of the field, but then they were 4 wide again in the middle of the field, going into one of the most congested parts of the racetrack. Well, you can see up ahead, they all settled out that 4-wide situation, but I think that's what actually bunched these guys up further back. As Vince Almriego almost up there into the wall. You see Jack Mitchell had a big run on Phil Parker, so he sticks his nose in there. And then Almriego tries to come back down, doesn't realize he's on the top side of 4 wide, and it's Mitchell and Turner that get into each other coming off of the tri-oval. The 0-1 probably pushed up. Nowhere for Vince Almriego to go. There's Ryan Brommer as he ran into the back of Jesse Turner. Austin LaPlante, William Brock, that's Benny Watson and Matt Haas back there all trying to avoid. Contact there for the left front of Levi McIntyre. There's Jacob Thibodeau and James Qualls just getting through. And William Brock thought he had it cleared. He turns up the track, and unfortunately there is Jack Mitchell And I believe the 88 has absolutely taken his car back behind the wall. I'd be surprised if any of these drivers really that were involved in this wreck continue on. Because as mentioned at the top of the program, there's no points on the line. So if you go out there and you're just logging laps, what is the point of doing that? Because you're not gaining any positions, you're not gaining any points. So more than likely you're going to see quite a number of these drivers that were involved in this wreck out of the race. Tough break there, not the way they want to start out their season. The good news is it's no points on the line, and they may have gotten the wreck out of their system here in a non-points event when it really, in all honesty, doesn't matter. The only thing you really get if you win the Clash is bragging rights. You get a little bit of a purse, and you also get locked into next year's Clash at Daytona. But aside from that, obviously some feelings are going to be hurt, but no championship is lost here with a DNF in the Clash at Daytona. But about a 4 or 5 car incident puts us under the yellow for the first time here today in the Clash. Let's go back for the green. And as I expected, everybody was on pit road. Some drivers took fuel only, some drivers took tires, but everybody should now be good to go the rest of the way on what they have in the tank. So green flag pit stops and pit road itself will not play a factor into the outcome of today's Clash race winner. We should get the 1 to green signal this time. Carson Gum came in the leader, left the leader, so he'll get us back underway. He's led every lap so far in this race after starting on the pole. Michael Norman, who started on the outside of the front row, will be restarting in second, so your front row will again be 1 and 2 here for the restart, as we do have another lap of caution still to go. Defending champ Jordan Lopez lines up in third. Fourth is going to be Ryan Acosta. Mitchell Collins in fifth. Sixth will be Ryan Butcher. Seventh, Cody Lamas. Eighth, Carter Friesen. Ninth, Phil Parker. And complete your top 10 will be James Qualls. Levi McIntyre in 11th. 12th is Austin LaPlante. 13th, Cole Deaver. 14th, Matt Haas. 15th, Jacob Thibodeau. 16th, Benny Watson. 17th will be Cole Baker. And I believe those are going to be the drivers that will be up to speed here for the remainder of this race. Jesse Turner continues on in the 18th position. You can still see some damage to the rear of that machine. Don't know if he will be able to stay up in the draft or not. 19th place is where we find Vince Almriego. He got more damage to the sides of his race car than he really did to the front, so he may also be up to speed. So I can maybe see why these two drivers are continuing on, but we'll see when we eventually go back green flag racing if they can keep up. So 19 drivers still running of 22 that took the green flag. So the drivers out of the race that will not complete the Clash today include Ryan Brommer, William Brock, the defending winner of the Clash, and Jack Mitchell. Very interesting, a couple of names that are conspicuously missing from the Clash, and it's interesting how poles may not transition into wins, and wins may not transition into poles. Most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series, Jose Mills, is not in today's field, despite being a 2-time winner last season. And we mentioned that Carter Friesen was one of 2 drivers that had 3 wins on the year last season. Well, Dylan Young was the other, taking 3 victories, but he also is not in today's Clash at Daytona. And another thing that I found very interesting as well is when we get to the Clash, obviously when we go to any super speedway, whether it be a non-points or a points event, you want to have teammates, you want to have friends. Well, there's not a whole lot of teammates here that are able to work with each other. There's really maybe like 2 drivers from each team max that are in this field. You have Carson Gum. He has nobody in the field here with him today. Michael Norman has Cody Lamas. James Qualls has Ryan Acosta. You've got the 2 teammates of Phil Parker and Jesse Turner. Jacob Thibodeau did have a teammate in William Brock, but he's out. But he also does have Austin LaPlante. And Jordan Lopez has Levi McIntyre. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Northeast Motorsports is the only team that has 3 cars in the Clash. And now one of them is out, with William Brock taking his car back behind the wall. But a lot of drivers out here just kind of in the friends where you find them situation. Mitchell Collins, Cole Baker, Ryan Butcher, Carter Friesen. A lot of drivers that are either single car entries or only one of their drivers transferred into the Clash from their team. So we may see some unusual alliances during the remainder of this race, which will be with 12 laps to go when Carson Gum leads them back around here to the start-finish line. So the pre-race jitters, if you will, should be out of their system now. They went 4 wide in 2 different areas of the field. The first one they settled out. The second one brought out our only caution up to this point. Now the question is, do we race clean and green to the start-finish line? And this is going to be the first time as well this season that we're going to see these drivers lining up single file. We saw what happened when they were double wide. Really, the inside and outside line were able to counter each other. But now we're going to see how long it takes for them to form back up to double and 3 wide with a single file restart. Also, one thing we should bear in mind as well, these drivers, they're going to be pole day qualifying tomorrow evening under nighttime conditions. However, the duels and the Daytona 500 itself will be run during the daytime, same track conditions. So we are getting a preliminary look at what those 2 types of races, what they will bring to the table in terms of racing, in terms of side-by-side, and in terms of which line it can move the best. As the green flag is back in the air, 12 laps to go here in the clash. Norman wastes no time. We saw him duck low, but he realized that he wasn't past the start-finish line yet. He can't do that or he'll get penalized. He finally does move to the bottom. Ryan Acosta also moved low, and that inside line begins to formulate once again with a Ford, a Dodge, a Toyota, and a Chevy. Norman, Acosta, Butcher, and Friesen, and Norman easily forges ahead of Carson Gum to the race lead. Carson had no drafting help there, about a car length and a half back to Jordan Lopez, so he was left out to dry. Norman with the run was able to get it, and whoa boy, it looked like we almost had a wreck back there as Cody Lamas literally forced his way in front of James Qualls. Qualls didn't look like he wanted to let him in. Michael Norman, now the only former Clash winner that's in the field, with William Brock's early departure, trying to be a 2-time Clash winner. And of course, moving over to a new manufacturer from Toyota now to Ford, that would be a big shot in the arm for Michael Norman Motorsports. Same could be said, though, for Joanna Atwood Motorsports with Ryan Acosta. As, boy, they're dancing back there mid-pack. Cody Lamas, James Qualls, Cole Deaver, all kind of trying to pick a lane there, seeing if they can make moves on each other. Deaver actually going to stick Qualls 3 wide. Carson Gum, he may get kicked to the top side 3 wide as Ryan Butcher tries to make a move. Couldn't quite do it. He almost hooked Carson Gum in the left rear quarter panel coming off of turn 4. As again, that inside line gets a big run to the start-finish line, but Norman just edges Acosta for the top spot. And Carter Friesen, he's going to try and go 3 wide for the lead himself with help from Deaver and Thibodeau on the bottom. But can they get formed up well enough to battle that top side, which has Norman, Carson Gum, Ryan Butcher with a good run off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. The outside line very strong here at Daytona. Norman will hold the lead. Carson Gum will clear Friesen into second. That's a couple of Daytona 500 winners right there in the 19 and the 37. As Carson Gum switches lanes, big run to the inside of Michael Norman, side drafts him and is going to clear him for the top spot. A beautiful pass by the number 19 Sharpie highlighter Chevrolet. But now Carter Friesen to the inside. A couple of former Daytona 500 winners side by side for the lead, and Carter Friesen's going to forge ahead to the top position. That outside line got broken up, but look at Deaver. Big run on the outside line. Looks to get the push from Carson Gum. Will Carson be able to push that silver bulleted GM Goodwrench Chevrolet to the lead? That was a heck of a move by Cole Deaver. Out of 4, Friesen still with the advantage. Deaver battles back on the outside line. There's Jacob Thibodeau, 2-time winner last year as a rookie for Northeast Motorsports, now with new sponsorship this season with Circuit City. And right behind him, Dollar General black and yellow Toyota Camry of Cole Baker. How about Jesse Turner? He was caught up in the first wreck. Wondered if he'd be up to speed. Answer is yes. There he is in the 47. That U.S. Air Force Ford Mustang is up in this lead pack with a shot of still being able to win this thing. Vince Almriego in the 42 is also still up in this lead pack. As Cole Deaver in the Dale Earnhardt Sr. colors out in front. Last season, he was very consistent as a rookie. Finished out the year, however, on a bit of a sour note. And now trying to take what would be his first checkered flag. Obviously, it would be a non-points win, but a checkered flag is a checkered flag. These drivers, as soon as they put the helmet on, they want to take the checkers. They want to take the win. But now Carter Friesen, with help from Cole Baker, going to push ahead on that inside line. Deaver going to move up to the outside line with help from Carson Gum. Now Friesen moves to the middle groove with Michael Norman, as now Baker will be the leader of the inside line with help from Jesse Turner, and that's going to be the 75, that very familiar powder blue Toyota Camry of Benny Watson, who finally, I think, felt brave enough to come up here to the front of the field. Before that last caution, Watson was running at the tail end of the field, just barely in the draft, maybe waiting for something to happen, and when it did, now he feels it's time to move his way up to the front, as he just now cracked the top 5. Speaking of 5, it will be 5 laps to go this next time by, as now Baker's Toyota moves out in front. He's got some help from Benny Watson. Phil Parker there as well in the 74. Both of the Lake Effect Autosports Ford Mustangs looking awfully good right now, as Parker on the inside, Turner his teammate on the outside. Right now, that outside line just looks like it's boxed in, going nowhere. Carson Gum and Ryan Butcher have been trapped up there for the last 6 laps or so and not been able to make any forward progress. Now they've got Carter Friesen up there with him. Michael Norman also there as well, as Watson clears all 3 lanes for the top position. He's now going to try and be Dale Earnhardt Jr., control which lane gets the run. Phil Parker now on the bottom of that 3 wide. Baker in the middle. Deaver up topside. Thibodeau was looking like he may think about sticking his nose in there 4 wide, but instead he'll follow in the tire tracks of the Old Spice Ford Mustang. His teammate Austin LaPlante down there on the bottom with him as well, as the top 3 going to get themselves a little single filed there. Deaver going to clear for second. Baker tried to clear for third, couldn't quite do it. Parker back to the inside. Now what can Deaver do with Benny Watson for the race lead? 4 to go at Daytona. Watson leads Deaver. Then it's side by side for third. Now clearing is going to be Baker. He'll go into that third position. Top 3 single file as Baker now with the run crosses down to the inside of Deaver for second. Carson Gum's cleared into fourth. Look out for the pole sitter. He's going to make a charge back to the front as well. And he's been in the situation before where he's been able to take a Daytona 500 checkered flag, as has Baker. So they know what move has to be made. There's Friesen there as well. All 3 of your former Daytona 500 winners are up here on that inside line, as Baker hounding Benny Watson. Does he move high? Does he move low? He'll go to the bottom. Is Carson Gum going to go with him? Yes, he is. And Watson falling back to Cole Deaver, hoping that he can lead that outside line around. They'll be side by side, those 2 Camrys going into turn 1. A couple of drivers have lost touch with the lead pack. Matt Haas in the 8, Levi McIntyre in the 99. Looks like they will not be factors into the outcome of this race as to who's going to win. Also, Vince Almriego starting to lose touch with the lead pack as well, as Watson on the outside line forges back to the lead. Now it's Deaver and Baker, a couple of Coles battling it out for second. Baker's got Carson Gum with drafting help on the bottom. Top side, it's Cole Deaver and Ryan Butcher. Baker clears for second place now. Now it's going to be Carson Gum challenging for the spot, as Benny Watson takes 3 laps to go here at Daytona. Can they make it back to the white flag is the question. They've been 3 wide for brief moments here, but they haven't been 4 wide like they were early on. So if they remain double file and 3 wide, I think we will easily finish this race under green. Question is, though, can anyone get a run on Benny Watson? They're trying. Cole Baker, a big push from Cole Deaver. He may look to the inside here into 3. Didn't have quite the run he needed. As Watson mirror driving right now, trying to see which lane Baker's taking through 3 and 4 and running the identical lane. They will make it back to the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Daytona. Benny Watson trying to hold off Cole Baker for the win. They're side by side for third. Now Deaver's going to clear for the spot. Can he help Cole Baker past the 75? Look at Baker drag the brake a little bit here, trying to see if he can get a run down the back straightaway to make a move into 3. He's going to have a big toe. Oh, Deaver makes a move to the inside of him, though. Is he going to get to the left rear quarter panel? If he does, that's going to be all she wrote, and he will. They'll be side by side for second unless Baker gets a big run out of 4. Benny Watson's got this race win in the bag. Heads off the final corner. Benny Watson's going to lead him to the line. First checker flag of the season in the Clash at Daytona goes to Benny Watson. Benny Watson, former winner from last season. However, that win did not come until during the playoffs. And thusly, he did not make it into the chase for the championship despite dominating points-wise in the regular season. Maybe this is a sign of things to come as Benny Watson is going to take the checkered flag here today. And as mentioned, he had a strategy coming in. He spent the first 5 laps riding at the back of the pack, worked his way through the big wreck that took place on the tri-oval, then decided it was time to make a charge, and did it at the right moment, and nobody was able to get to him there through 3 and 4, as Watson easily brought it home with the win. So this locks Benny Watson into next season's Clash at Daytona as well, if he doesn't get a pole this season. And here is the full finishing results from the first race of the year here at Daytona in the 4th annual Duracell Cup Series Clash. It's Benny Watson with the win, Cole Deaver in second, Cole Baker in third. 4th for the pole sitter Carson Gum, who kept his car up front all day long. Ryan Butcher will finish 5th. Phil Parker 6th, 7th for Carter Friesen. Great run there for Jesse Turner as he was one of the drivers involved in our only caution of the day. He'll get 8th, James Qualls in 9th, and Michael Norman will finish in 10th. Jacob Thibodeau in 11th, Mitchell Collins 12th, 13th for Austin LaPlante, Cody Lamas 14th, 15th was Ryan Acosta. Those were the last of the drivers that finished up in the lead group. Vince Almriego faded back to finish 16th, Levi McIntyre 17th, Matt Haas in 18th. Don't know what happened to the 38 of Jordan Lopez, the defending champion, finished over 40 seconds back. He lost the draft as well, so I don't know what happened to him. I don't think he got a piece of our wreck, our caution. So it'll be interesting to find out what happened to him. And then 3 drivers out of the race for the wreck I just talked about. Ryan Brommer, William Brock, and Jack Mitchell. So 4 clashes at Daytona, 4 different race winners up to this point. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Toyota now has 3 of those 4 victories. William Brock's the only Chevrolet that's taken a Clash win. But Watson, Norman, and McIntyre, when they all took wins, I believe that was all in Toyota Camrys. Nope. Check that, 2 and 2 for Toyota and Chevrolet. McIntyre was in a Chevy back in Season 1. So 2 wins for Chevy, 2 wins for Toyota here in the Clash at Daytona. Is this a sign of things to come, though, this week? I don't know, but Benny Watson certainly hopes so. Tomorrow night, these drivers, they will be doing pole day qualifying to find out who's going to be on the front row for the Daytona 500. Also, as far as the non-chartered drivers, we'll find out one non-chartered driver that will race his way into the 500 on speed tomorrow evening. Rest of the Daytona 500 field will be determined with our Gatorade duels. Those will be on Thursday. And then we kick off the season points-wise, running for a championship with the 4th annual running of the Duracell Cup Series Great American Race Daytona 500. But thank you everybody for tuning in to today's event. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finish results from today's Clash, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night for pole day qualifying here under the lights at the Daytona International Speedway. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. It's good to be back.